wealth grows in silence. Attention is loud, and attention is also expensive. Guys, if you think that you have to flex out loud to show your wealth, you're missing the point. The people building real wealth out here, they usually aren't talking about it. They're not posting it on Facebook or IG. In fact, most of the time, you wouldn't even know who they are. But here's the deal. Behind the scenes, they're doing a few things consistently that quietly separate them from everybody else. Let me show you exactly what they're doing. Okay, first, the people who build quiet wealth, they don't upgrade their life every time they get more money. Most people get a raise, get a bonus, and immediately sprint out the door and start spending money, right? Quiet wealth, don't do that. Here's what quiet wealth does. Quiet wealth increases their margin, not their lifestyle. In other words, if I bring in $4,000 a month and my expenses are $3,000 a month, I got a $1,000 margin. 2 years from now, if I'm bringing home $8,000 a month and my expenses are still $3,000 every single month, now I got a $5,000 margin. That's quiet wealth. Get out of the bad habit of upgrading your life when you make more money. Now, the second habit of quiet wealth is investing automatically. That way there's no emotion involved. See, it's hard to have to make a decision every single month on whether or not you're going to invest some money or not. If you just do it automatically, it just happens. Money comes in and money goes to investing. Simple, right? People building quiet wealth are not in the habit of paying all their bills and then investing what's left. No, they intentionally place investing at the top of their priority list. And they invest like they pay rent, right? It's a bill every month that they automatically pay towards their future. See, investing should have nothing to do with how you feel on any given day, how much time you decide to devote to it on any given day, or whether you remember it or you don't remember it, right? None of that needs to come into play when you're trying to invest. It doesn't come into play if you just happen to invest automatically without having to think about it. Do that one habit for 20 years and you'd be shocked at the amount of wealth that you can accumulate in that 20 years. If you have to sit around and think about it every single time you're going to invest some money, you're already behind. Get in the habit of automating it like people who build quiet wealth. Now, the third habit of quiet wealth is avoiding bad debt on purpose. Bad debt is debt on anything that's not going up in value. You know, your car payment, your medical bills, your student loans, your credit cards. Those are wealth destroying habits when you're trying to build wealth. It's better to be quietly wealthy than loud and in debt, right? No need to be flashy or concerned with what people think about you or the car you drive or the home you live in or the outfit or name brand that you have on your body. None of that matters. Those things mean absolutely nothing to the person who's building quiet wealth. Now, if you have debt on something that's going up in value, like private equity, rare art, right? Real estate, land, that's cool. Using some debt to stack assets that are raising your net value is fine. In fact, that's what people who build quiet wealth do. It's the bad debt that is the habit that you need to break and avoid. Look, quiet wealth and bad debt are like oxymorons, opposing forces like oil and water. They just don't go together. And I know you've heard that the wealthy, they use debt to get wealth. Yes, but they're using it to buy appreciating assets, not Mercedes-Benz or red-bottom shoes or tickets to go on vacation all the time. Now, the fourth habit of quiet wealth is building cash quietly. Cash is not dead, I'm telling you. Quietly wealthy people have a level of liquidity that most people can only dream about. It means when they see a $30,000 deal somewhere, they can act on it, right? Which only puts them in a position to do what? Build more wealth. Having cash means having a high level of control over your money. And sometimes, guys, it's not that quiet wealth is sitting there on $100,000, but sometimes it's just the fact that they have immediate access to $100,000, right? People live with stress, people live with anxiety, and people are panicking because they have no cash. Quiet wealth, they got cash. And another habit is that quiet wealth knows exactly where their money is going. In other words, quiet wealth has an enormous amount of structure around their money. People that build quiet wealth, they have a habit of tracking their spending, doing a budget, knowing their net worth, knowing the value of their assets and the amounts of their liabilities. They have a habit of being intentional, and that makes them aware. See, what happens to a lot of people is they start life with not much money and counting every dime, and then they build a little bit of wealth and they get a good job and they start making more money over the course of 5 or 10 years, and they lose that focus and they start getting in the habit of spending money frivolously. Quietly wealthy people, they never lose that focus. They know and track their money with $2 million today, just like they were knowing and tracking their money when they only had $2,000 10 years ago. They maintain focus and organization with the money. The deal is this: you can't build wealth with money that you're not paying attention to. You just can't do it. Now, the sixth habit of quietly wealthy people is buying assets, not attention. See, most people buy things that depreciate and go down in value. And it looks like success and it feels like success, right? But that feeling don't last long. It's a temporary feeling. Quietly wealthy people aren't wrapped up in their feelings around money. They own 3 acres over here. They own a commercial building over there. They have a multifamily apartment building downtown somewhere. They got $500,000 worth of index funds over here and $250,000 worth of stocks over there. And they rarely get on IG, right? They understand that ownership of assets is what builds real wealth, not people looking at them or giving them attention. Wealth grows in silence. Attention is loud, and attention is also expensive. Now, the seventh habit that builds quiet wealth is consistency, even when it's boring. No excitement, no hype, no big wins to post on social media, just repetition over and over again. And this is what most people don't understand. Wealth building is not exciting. It's the same transfer every couple of weeks. It's the same contribution to your retirement account. It's the same decision to not overspend, right? It's the same discipline without anybody clapping for you in the background. Most people quit right there because nothing feels like it's working, right? Your account is not jumping overnight. You're not seeing some big old breakthrough. So you start, what do? You start questioning the plan that you laid out for yourself in terms of your personal finance, or you give up altogether and quit. But people who build quiet wealth, they don't need excitement. They trust the system that they built and they just keep on going. See, quiet wealth is built when nobody is watching and nothing feels like it's happening at the time, but it is happening in the background. Years later, right? That little bit of nothing turns into something. Compound interest, right? A fully funded retirement account, maybe a paid off property somewhere, or a portfolio that's been compounding and building and building and growing the whole time while everybody else was quitting. The difference is not that quietly wealthy people have all the knowledge in the world. They don't. The difference is they just don't stop. They keep going. Guys, that's 7 more habits that build quiet wealth. If you got value from this video, do me a favor and drop me a comment below and let me know that you got value. Guys, the best person who's going to take care of that old you is the young you. Take care of people, but take care of yourself because you're people too. Until the next video, peace.